Welcome to the introduction session of ITU 6105 software development project. In here, I'm going to explain you some aspects of BIT project and also the BIT project sufficient class. Firstly, about myself, I'm Pradeep, graduate of UCSC BIT First Class Honor in 2014. Currently work as a system analyst of Faculty of Medicine, kind of software engineering post, and also over 5 years experience in project BIT project supervision, and also I worked before as an BIT lecturer in FITP, and still works as a freelance software developer, especially in distributed online systems, and you can view my full profile from the given link. And then why bit finally a project is so crucial? The reason is two sides, actually two sides. The first one is the academic point of view and the professional point of view. From academic, it's mandatory 8 credit modules, which means the grade will fully affected to your overall performance. And again, you must have 2 or higher GP value to obtain your degree, right? The other part is also important, in the nature of IT, the paper qualification is not enough. You should have a working experience, or you should be able to work properly, right? In that case, this is very important because this is the main subject you can get the professional experience within a real environment. So it's very important, and also to get some confidence of your capability of, especially in development, right? So because of those things, very important. And here the deliverables, what you need to provide or submit. The first one is you need to submit project proposal. I think you are on the deadline, 7th of November. You need to submit a project proposal, and then 10 progress reports, interim report. Then at the end, you need to present your system at your Viva with presentation, demonstration, and finally the dissertation. And PEB, Project Evaluation Board of UCSC, expects from you to cover minimum 300 of workload, excluding the document writing and other tasks, which means you have to spend around 12 hours per week. That's the minimum requirement, right? And then you need some computers. In here, I mentioned the PHP based or the web based systems because that is where my experience is, right? In here, when we discuss the competency, it's not only you need the development side, but also you need to know about the designing, analyzing, for example, the object-oriented concepts, UML, the development technologies. If you are going with web-based system, HTML, CSS, MySQL, and IDE, testing, debugging techniques. And actually, you need to refresh your knowledge about all the contents you learn throughout the BIT project, BIT degree. So, and also you need to with computers about soft skills, presentation skills, document writings. It has some rules and best practices. You can find those details from project guidelines, documentations, and also to explanation things, and so on, right? And the additional tools you may need, especially to prepare a Gantt chart and so on, right? For the standalone students, you may need Java and or C Sharp and the related libraries and other components, so on, right? These are the competencies you need. And then, you know, having a supervisor is mandatory, which means all the students go with the supervisor, right? With some guidance, right? But students always struggle. A lot of students can make some complaints. Why? What the reasons? In my career experience, there are some failure factors I identified. The first one is students tries to do from scratch. I mean, I mentioned that, right? You need all the contents you've studied throughout the week. So if you think to go from scratch, to learn everything from scratch and go ahead, it would be not successful. The reason is the time is limited, right? What you need is to refresh your knowledge and go ahead, right? And then go in reverse, kind of ad hoc approach, which means students things to start directly the development and then go back and make some design and other things. Will not work because this real scenario, a complicated system, not a simple calculator or something like that, right? So you need to go step by step, analyze, design, and implementation evaluation, right? That's another thing. The other thing is the calculated workload. I mentioned minimum workload is 300 hours and 12 hours per week. Then students think to work throughout the week or the month, get 2-3 months, close the deadline and dedicate full time and try to complete. Will not work, right? It's not work because you may struggling, because you may have to face a lot of technical issues and a lot of things to sort it out, right? So it will not work. You need to spend your time throughout the year, right? And then most students tries to face Viva and other things by the things keep in mind by heart without the meaningful or other things, right? So with less practical, right, it will not work because you should have a full aware of your system, because they'll ask you questions, will ask to explain something. If you think to go with by heart everything, it will not work, right? Instead, you should have a practical approach, right? When you write something or when you code something, you should have a clear idea of why you do that, right? The other things, the worst one, some students tries to ask some other one to develop the system and go with Viva. It will not work at all because you can easily examine and find, right? That is why they ask to do some modifications, a lot of questions about the business logic and the code, and so they can easily find if you are going with another developed system, right? Don't do that. And these are the key failure factors. And then what provided by the class, right? Especially I would like to mention, this is actually not a class. So project supervision, right? Why? The reason is class meaning like you come, sit and listen something and go. But in here, totally different. You should bring something with you. Then you can get feedback. For example, actually that is the nature of this, right? This bit finally a project supervision, because you need a supervision, not to learn something, because you have already learned a lot of things. Yeah, you may need to refresh something to learn new things. That okay, but especially the main thing is to get the supervision. To get the supervision means to get feedback from your supervisor with your supervisor's experiences, right, best practices, those things, to make the corrections. To do that, you should bring your things, and then you should present those things to your supervisor, and then you can get the feedback. Especially in my class, right? If you don't bring anything, how I can give you feedback? Impossible, right? That's a very important thing. And the class is online totally, so there is no time barriers, there is no geographical area barriers. Anyone can join, right? Normally class can continue in Saturday 7 to 10 p.m., right? And if you need a special session, we can discuss and arrange it, right? Normally we meet bi-weekly. That is minimum requirement from UCSC, right? But in especially in the beginning, we need to clarify a lot of things, discuss a lot of things. You need to learn some new things. For example, in here in my classes, we are going to use coordinator. You need to learn those things, right? So in that case, in the first part, we need to meet weekly, but after that it depends, right? Depends on the requirement, right? But normally minimum one is bi-week, right? And then what you will be provided from the class, you will be provided phase by phase explanations. At the moment we are in analyze phase, right? All the how to write your dissertation, how to write the interim report, and code explanations with sample project. Don't misunderstand, it's a sample, right? So not a complete project with some to get some idea on, right? You can't present it and go through, right? The demonstrations, all the study materials, reference material, you may need to refer not only for the development, but also in writing the dissertation, and also especially individual project problem solving. We have a Telegram group, you can interact with each other, you may find similar project being done by the other students, you can exchange your ideas and work together and go through, right? And then how you can win? Very simple. We present the class for every session, much as possible. Don't depend on the recording, though it provides. It will not work, right? Live session is very important. You can ask the questions. I may also ask the questions to make sure your knowledge, right? And then we have our own schedule and progress, online progress sheet. You can manage your progress and you can examine, you can track your progress by yourself, right? I also keep an eye about that. And then the special thing is follow my advice. Short and sweet, you can go through, right? So that's all I want to explain you, because you know, you are in a tight schedule at the moment. You have only 2 days to prepare the proposal and go ahead. So if you are willing to join the class, what you need to do, The first, you need to register. It's a temporary registration. In here, with the post, you can find the registration form and you can request. There is a special session tomorrow, which is yeah, which is 5th of November. If you need, you can join, and then with your you can present your proposal idea, and then you will be instructed how to prepare the proposal, and you can go ahead. You can contact me on my phone and also WhatsApp and our email address, right? For further clarification of the registrations and the other things. Okay, that's all to introduce you, and wish you all the best. Thank you.